it just seems like every time we hear more news coming from Microsoft's mouth, the Xbox One is becoming less and less likely to be your console of choice. Um, I've made a video in the past talking about why the whole locking out of used games is bullshit. There has been more information coming out of Microsoft, basically discussing what restrictions apply. And let me just say it, the restrictions suck. I mean, there's some ways I can kind of see that we can exploit it, similar to the PlayStation 3's game share program, where, 5 PlayStation 3 consoles can use your content that you paid for. This one is 10, but, it's a little shaky on the details. But yet, as a gamer, I'm staying clear away from this console. And it just seems that with E3, I was like, you know what? Maybe Microsoft will redeem themselves with E3. They did and didn't at the same time. It was like for every positive that they announced, there was a negative that was equal to just like, blank it out. It was just a complete colossal fuck up for their press conference. I mean, yeah, it was great that they were just fucking hitting you game after game after game after game, which is great. This is what we've been asking for years from fucking Microsoft. I mean, heck, they only showed like 1 or 2 games that actually use Kinect. But there were key announcements that were bullshit. There were. For one, they're not getting rid of the charge for Xbox Live Gold, but they are making it a little bit enticing. They're trying to take a play out of Sony's playbook here. They're going to give you 2 free games every month for Xbox Live Gold, starting I think this month or next month. They're going to give you like Assassin's Creed 2 and Halo 3, games that have been out for years. They're going to give you for free. Woo! Whoop-de-doo. We'll see if they expand upon it. One thing they also announced that was good, actually, this is before I get to the friggin' negatives, guys. One thing they also announced that's good is Xbox Live Gold sharing. I actually made a rant about this with Xbox Live Gold in one of my previous videos. I talked about how gold was bullshit, that, my brother had gold on his console, basically on his account on his console, but because I didn't have gold under my account, I couldn't play split screen online multiplayer because I had to be a guest account from him. Thus, I don't get any, scores or whatever. But, at least Microsoft is changing that. That's something that I had said, and I'm glad they're doing. About fucking time. But everything else just was shit. The games, meh. I mean, you looked at that, what was it, Rise? And that's spelled R-Y-S-E. It's kind of like 300 mixed with God of War, but the gameplay is more of like, the viewpoint you have is more of a Dead Space or a Gears of War kind of control scheme. But every fucking enemy you go to finish off, you have to finish them off with a QuickTime event. So, I'm reading the comments that are live, and this is one thing I like about game trailers. They finally did that where, as you're watching the live stream, you see comments being, brought live, and everyone's like, QuickTime event this, QuickTime event that, why the fuck are they doing this? I agree. It's a stupid design choice for the game. There were some aspects of it that I thought was pretty cool, though. But other than that, the other games are not memorable. I don't even remember what else they showed. And I watched this, I was paying full attention to this presentation. All I got was Killer Instinct, which about fucking time. But then again, I was really hoping for either a Banjo-Kazooie game or a Conker's Bad Fur Day. Honestly, those two would have been worth more. Because look, let's face it, a fighter title doesn't cost much to make. I could never see myself spending $60 on a fighting game because it's very lacking in content. All it is just characters, backgrounds, music, sound effects. That's it. There really isn't much. You can have a team of like 20 people make this game easily. I was hoping that Rare would have released something a little bit better. Rare has Killer Instinct and fucking Sports. Connect Sports, Rivals or whatever it was. They showed off Forza 5 and they had to do the whole, hey, look, here's a multi-million-dollar car. There's only two in existence from McLaren. So we're going to, open up the game by having the car that there's only two of in existence come up from the show floor. And we're just going to talk to you about games. Now, there were some really fucking cool things that they did. And I have to say, this is what next gen really is supposed to mean. It isn't just about graphics, it's about other things. The fact that the game will learn how you drive is good. The whole, hey, I have my little avatar guy, drive my car while I'm, working or something, and then it gets me points. I don't want my game playing for me. I want to play for myself. But the fact that they're using the cloud, where it's kind of like Siri learns as everyone plays, so the AI is better. They're going to do that with gaming, and I think this is excellent. I think this is a very good idea. I would love to see this in more and more games where, the AI isn't this very predictable bullshit thing. I mean, look at Mario Kart. You can predict the shit out of AI. You know when they're going to throw a shell at you. You know when they're going to do things because it never changes. And when we were watching this Forza 5, and you saw that the computer would take out another fucking computer player and actually fight them, like, spin them out so it can win, that's good. Usually it's the computer versus you. So it's, if you have 10 cars, it's 9 cars versus you. So the computer wants those 9 cars to work as a team to take you out. It doesn't work that way. At least it's being cannibalistic against itself to be more realistic, and I think that's excellent. I really do. I really like that. I would love to see more and more racers do stuff, because when I saw that car spin out, I was like, that's cool. I'm glad they didn't talk about TV. I'm glad they didn't, dive much into Kinect, because, it was about the hardcore gamer, but then again, as I said, it was not memorable at all. It really wasn't, and there wasn't anything that they announced that made me want to say, hey, I have to buy this. They showed off, they're bringing Metal Gear Solid 5 to the Xbox One. So it's going to be a PlayStation 3 title. I'm pretty sure they're going to announce it for PlayStation 4. Kojima would be an idiot for not doing that. If they announce it for PC, which I've heard some people rumoring it's going to be released on PC, you know which version I'm buying. Why am I going to settle for a fucking console when, again, I have a GTX 690 in my rig, something that will easily play a game like that. But I don't know about the whole open world thing. I think that's a trend that gaming is going towards, which works for certain genres, but certain ones I just don't want. I mean, Metal Gear Solid, I don't really want that to be an open world game. Maybe my opinion will change. I'm going to be very open-minded about it because I was disappointed with number 4, but hey, number 3 is my all-time favorite. Number 2 was a classic. I have to say it was definitely an underrated game of the series. I think it was better than people made it seem. Just because you're not controlling Snake doesn't mean it's a bad game. And the original, of course, you can't beat the original. So we'll see how the series goes. I like that he was riding a horse. That's pretty cool. The fact that you were actually rescuing someone, I'm wondering if this is, a continuation of the story going forward, or this is like a prequel where, this story takes place back in the 70s or 80s or whatever, who knows. But Revolver Ocelot was in there, and that was pretty interesting too, that they were actually working together. Who would have thought? So yeah, that's those announcements. Now, where it got complete bullshit was when he announces the price. Now, I'm thinking to myself, okay, this box will probably be, $400, maybe $450. That's really stretching it. No, it's $500. $500 for this fucking thing. Now, you would think that the industry would learn from the past mistakes of other console manufacturers or whatever. You know that Sony didn't sell many PlayStation 3s at the $400 and $500, the $500 and $600 price point, right? The 20 gig PlayStation 3, which many forget actually existed, was $499. So that was $500 for a 20 gig PS3 that didn't have wireless, didn't have the chrome finish. It was entirely piano black. It was actually, it's unique. I don't think I've ever seen one in person. And then you had the premium model, which is that whole $599 US, Ridge Racer. But Microsoft did not fucking learn from that mistake. It's going to be a very, very, very tough sell for someone to buy an Xbox One launch day. It's going to be an extremely tough sell. Not to mention the previous bullshit that you announced a few weeks ago. On top of paying the $500, you have to deal with the fact that your games are going to be locked to your account, that you can't just easily resell it. And, PR bullshit aside, if you don't even believe it, just understand Microsoft is telling you the truth. Yes, we aren't going to decide whether or not you can resell your game. It's up to the publishers, our friendly publishers who think used games are the devil. You think they're going to let you resell their games? Fuck no. So Microsoft, you're a douchebag for giving them that choice. They're making the choice for you, It is bullshit, guys. I really don't see the point in buying this thing. I mean, even if they release the best fucking games for it, it's still a very tough sell. It really is. And a lot of people are trying to compare this to PC gaming, and I'm telling you, it's not the same thing at all. You buy a console knowing that, you just pop in a disc, you play your game, you take out the disc, you pop in another disc, play that game, take out the disc. It's consoles that have originally been conceived with that whole idea that, you don't have to install things, you don't have to, nothing. PCs have used product keys for years. I mean, we're talking about maybe 15 years now. They've been using product keys. The original StarCraft used product keys. Yes, it wasn't as locked down, but, it's been around for many, many years on PCs. So it became acceptable. On top of that fact, PC games tend to be far cheaper than the consoles. You look at any game nowadays, yes, they launch at the same price, but take a game that came out, let's say Crysis 3. You can find Crysis 3 cheaper on PC than you can consoles, because consoles, for the most part, it's still $60. But I guarantee it, you can find it for like $20 online for PC. So, you wait a month or two, and you end up getting your games for a fraction of the price. And that's a regular thing. I don't think the last game I spent $60 on for PC was BioShock Infinite, because I wanted it day one. So it was the same price as consoles, but you could find it cheaper now. You really can. It's very cheap now to be a PC gamer. And one thing I'm noticing now is because of the bullshit from Microsoft, I've been reading comments left and right, not even on my channel, on other people's channels, the live comments that people had during Microsoft's press conference, everyone's saying they're going to go to PC gaming. They said if Sony drops the ball tonight, which this recording is prior to Sony's, E3 press conference, so they can fuck everything up after I record this. But as of right now, there's hope. Right now, as long as Sony doesn't repeat the same bullshit they did with the PS3, they have to release it at 400 or less. They have to. If they undercut Microsoft by $100, it's an insta-win. Instantly. You're going to have more people buy your console just for the fact that it's $100 cheaper. On top of that, if you do not announce any bullshit DRM like Microsoft has done, where you say there's no product keys, you can install your game, play it as much as you want, sell your game to GameStop, to whoever the fuck you want. There's no online requirement. You don't have to be online ever from the moment you open up that box. If they announce it in that form, it's a guaranteed win for Sony. You would have to be a moron to pick the Xbox One over Sony's console if Sony does it right. Now, yes, Microsoft will have exclusives. I mean, they announced another fucking Halo. That was a surprise. Even when it was like him just walking in the desert before his fucking uniform, what the fuck was it? It was like a cloth thing. Before that was exposed, I knew it was fucking Halo. I'm like, I guarantee this shit's Halo. And then, of course, you see Cortana's like little keychain USB drive, and you're like, yep, it's Halo. It's a fucking shame. It really is. It really is. So take care, guys. That this wraps it up. I'm gonna just call this like like recap of Microsoft's E3 2013. It was an utter complete disappointment, and I mean, maybe it wasn't as bad as other years, where they just connectified everything. But it is a very disappointing price point. People are already pissed off. I mean, look, some people are trying to justify it by saying, well, you would buy an iPad for $500. Why not a console? It's a completely different market. Plus, think about it this way. You buy an iPad for $500, the games are $1. Yeah, you'll find a game for $10 here and there, but the games are considerably cheaper than they are on this damn Xbox. Which they still didn't announce if it's gonna be $60 or $70. I'm starting to bet that it's gonna be 70 fucking bucks for these damn games. So then again, take care, guys. Look out for future comments. Please definitely drop a comment below. Say what you have to say about it. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm right. But hey, I'm stating my opinion. I'm stating what I see. And I hope you guys do the same.